Breaking tonight, new questions for Donald Trump after the Republican frontrunner yesterday suggested that he would strongly consider shutting down certain mosques in the U.S. to prevent the spread of homegrown terror.
Well, you're going to have to watch and study the mosques because a lot of talk is going on at the mosques. And from what I heard in the old days, meaning a while ago, we had great surveillance going on in and around mosques.
So let me stop. Chris, did you did a lot of reporting this weekend? I think I picked up this weekend that actually the French have said they will shut down mosques that breed hatred.
That have radical leadership.
Is that something that you would consider doing as president?
Well, I would hate to do it, but it's something that you're going to have to strongly consider because some of the ideas and some of the hatred, the absolute hatred, is coming from these areas.
Katrina Pearson is the national spokesperson for the Trump campaign. Saba Ahmed is the president and founder of the Republican Muslim Coalition. Good to see you both. All right, so Katrina, let me start with this. The argument against that, one of them, is back to the First Amendment. That we have freedom of religion, we have freedom of speech, and we're opening up a very dangerous door if we get the government getting to go into a religious institution and decide what amounts to hate speech.
Well, Megan, we don't have the right to plot terrorism and kill Americans. Just let me give you a quick example from the not too distant past. We have the Boston bombers whose parents came in with visas, refugees who escaped this mass surveillance program. They belonged to a mosque in Cambridge. The president and founder of that mosque was Abdurrahman Alamoudi, who is now doing 23 years in prison for planning a terrorist attack in 2004. Also from that mosque, Afia Siddiqui, who went to MIT, who was planning a chemical attack on New York City. He is doing 86 years in prison.
Saba,
not to mention Yusuf al-Qawadawi.
What about that? Because even experts have said, even experts like Andrew McCarthy, who has studied this, have said that the mosques tend to be hotbeds for political activity, not as much religious activity.
Megan, we go to the mosque to pray. It's absolutely horrifying to hear that our constitutional rights of free exercise of religion are now going to be challenged just because somebody thinks that there may be some attendees who may disagree with your views. But the thing is, like, you wouldn't shut down churches just because there was one or two Christians who were acting badly. The mosque has nothing to do with the terrorists. Yes, there are people who misuse the religion for their perverted ideology, but that has nothing to do with my faith.
But what about the point that it's only the mosques that have the extremist leaders?
Megan, the mosque that she was just talking about, the one in Boston, has thousands of Muslims, Americans working very hard in that area. We have lawyers, doctors, engineers, civil society. Everybody's working hard to be good American citizens. And to think that, just because there was a few people that may have been associated with terrorism that came to that church, that does not give you the permission to shut down the mosque.
Go ahead.
Megan, it's not a few people. It's not a few people. It is the founder of that mosque that is in prison right now today for plotting terrorism, and not to mention the ones that have followed after him. But this is no different than a Christian church. It's no different than a Mormon church. You've had the DOJ investigate Mormon churches and shut them down.
Why do you go after the individuals as opposed to the mosque? Go ahead, you go after the individuals is the argument.
Exactly. And I'd love to have Trump visit a local mosque in New York or Washington, D.C. I think Mr. Trump has so many business dealings all over the Middle East. He's worked with Muslims. He knows we are good, hardworking people. You cannot alienate the Muslim American voters by targeting.
It's not about alienation. You have to investigate and you have to implement due process. If it's one person, fine. But if it's the entire mosque, it needs to be shut down.
Thank you both for a thoughtful debate. We'll be right back.